So here we've got this baseball shop, Pro Swing, and they sell a swing trainer for $130.
That sounds like a solid piece of gear.
It better be. They've got $50 a day for ads. So they run ads straight to the trainer. Buy now.
Okay, that's straightforward so far.
Yeah, sure. Except most people clicking that ad have never heard of Pro Swing. They're not dropping $130 on a stranger, so they bounce.
Yeah, and here's the problem, because Pro Swing paid for every one of those clicks.
Yeah, full price every time. And that's a pretty expensive way to get ignored.
Yeah, okay, so show me the way, Jesse.
I've been dying for somebody to ask me that. So same shop, same $50, but what if the ad didn't sell the trainer? What if it gave something away instead, like 10 steps to a better swing for free?
Well, I think I see where you're going from here. And to get it,
you hand over your email. Ta-da!
Nice.
Now Pro Swing doesn't have one shot at a sale. They've got you in their inbox, tips, drills, and the trainer when you're ready.
That's awesome. And it's the same budget, right? But one of them ends the week with nothing but wasted money, and the other ends with a list of prospects.
Yeah, and that list is what becomes customers for months, years even.
So why then does everybody still run ads straight to their product?
Because no one built the other thing for them, or because it takes time. So today we're going to live page, sign up form, and the automation that sends the freebie. And then we'll even quickly show you how you might be able to generate some new ads in Canva with that that debatable and Canva AI 2.0 release.
Who knows? Maybe it'll work this time. But you're telling me all of it? We're gonna do all of it today?
We'll do all of it, and we'll keep it to our regular time slot. And before we're done, we can even test it for real. So you'll watch a sign up. We're still sitting here. All right. So as we, so wonderfully conveyed, it's funny. You and I were talking before we went live today, and you and I have actually spent some time at like some conferences and small biz expos and things like that, and had conversations with customers. And often the question is like, well, where does email fit in my marketing? And you and I have an email background. We both work for AWeber. And the reality is like, it makes your paid spend effective. There's a reason that emails always reference as having like a 36-to-1 return on investment. It's because you get to build relationship and trust and communication, two-way communication with an audience that's interested in your products or services.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I'm not saying that paid ads straight to products never works. I am a sucker for a good Instagram ad. There are some products all over my house that I probably don't need, but I purchased because I got that right ad, But for most of us, especially when we're talking about bigger ticket items and we're talking about services, you need like a more intentional, conscientious flow to engage your customers.
And like a good way to think about it is not that straight to product ads don't work. It's that they don't work for everyone who would otherwise buy from you. So straight to product ads, they're fine, but they should be part of your mix, because for people who already are like either impulse buyers, if you have a inexpensive enough product, or have already been convinced that they need what you have to offer, that's great. And you get people right to buy. But for folks who have the problem that you solve, but are either unaware of you or not convinced that you have their solution, like what Jesse's going to walk through is a better way to actually have a shot at converting them.
Yeah. There's this like 40-40-20 rule in advertising where it's like the success of your campaign is 40% dependent on your list, or like the audience that you've targeted. If we're talking about like digital ads, 40% dependent on your offer, and 20% dependent on the creative. Heartbreaking to a creative person. But like, so you may run a direct to purchase ad. And if that audience or list is hyper targeted, You know, you sell a swing trainer to a father who just watched his son strike out 6 times and doesn't have the emotional capacity to handle that anymore and wants to do everything they can to help them. Yeah, maybe they're ready to buy, right? But for most of them, yeah, like you just said, they're going to need convincing. And that's where a nurture sequence and a lead magnet to build that audience and get their interest at a lower threshold to entry is so, so powerful. Before we jump in, yes, the heat wave has finally broken here, and I am freezing in Pennsylvania. I want the heat back. I might be the only one on Earth. All right. So on a previous episode, we built this landing page for a mythical pro swing baseball co that sells a baseball swing trainer using Lovable. So we're going to use this company and brand again today. Let's say, you know, they were making the mistake that we were by only running direct to product ads, you know, and they're trying to sell this plate pack bundle for $140 or the pro swing rotational trainer for $90. That is a big leap. So there's a way that we can introduce a lower threshold and bring people to that. Now, you might have an existing lead magnet. You might not. Guess what? AI is great at developing, you know, free lead magnets for you based on just information and value that you have that you can share. In the case of this, we're going to have the company use this old PDF that they have called 10 Steps to a Better Swing. Now, I figured it's not entirely necessary. This could still do the job, right? But we talked about it last week, I believe, you know, and Chris showed how to build a web app. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago, even I can't remember anymore. Why give a generic PDF that they're just going to leave in their downloads folder and never look at when you can give them an interactive experience? So what we're going to do today is we're going to jump over into AWeber. And this is soon to be available. As we had mentioned before, you can email Chris if you want to request or sign up for the wait list to get access.
I'm actually just going to post the link to this right now into the chat. So if you want to try it out yourself in AWeber, and if you're not an AWeber user yet, you can just create a free account to try it out. Because right now our page builder is at no additional cost, and it is available for free accounts too. So you can get in there and play around with it.
Yo, and I hope everybody's jumping on that because this thing is so much fun. I cannot tell you how many meetings I've been late for in the last week because I have been in the page builder, like playing with it and just completely lose track of time. With you know, apologies to Sean Cohen. All right, so I'm here in AWeber, and I'm going to go into the page builder, which if you go to pages and forms in the left menu, once you click that link that has that feature flag attached to it, you'll see this menu item at the top that says AI landing pages beta. So I'm going to click that. Now what we're going to do is create a new landing page in the top right here. If you remember it and have the prompt doc, which I will drop a link for right now. I do have a generic prompt in here that you can kind of fill in the blanks on, and that's what I'm going to use to build my interactive lead magnet and sign up page. I actually, sorry, let me find that prompt again. I thought I had it handy. All right. So I'm actually going to give it the prompt that's in that Megadoc and get it going. It's pretty extensive. I had Claude help me write this prompt. Again, everybody that's seen the show knows that I love to, rather than write my own prompts, have Claude write more extensive prompts based on my incoherent ramblings. And I'm going to give it that. Now, we're going to let this run and we'll come back and look at what it creates. But I actually did run this earlier too. It took about 3 minutes. It's not that it took a lot of time, but why waste those 3 minutes when we can do it? So I actually ran it earlier and it created this page. So it gives me your 10 steps to a better swing. It tells me that it's trusted by over 2,400 hitters. And if you've watched any of AWeber's stuff that we do about like good landing pages, it follows the 5 critical elements have. And the coolest thing is like it's this sign up, sign in experience here where you know, the user, all they have to do is give me, it's super low friction. All they have to do is give me their name and their email. And like that, they're in. Just like that. In the blink of an eye, they're in this interactive web app. Now, this is the same content as my PDF was, but what's really cool is that I can do a lot more here. Like a PDF is like relatively speaking, it's a dead end, right? I might have a QR code or my website URL in it, but they have to take like a more complex action to actually, take advantage of any other paths off, otherwise they use that PDF and it's like, okay, cool. Now with something like this is an interactive app that they can keep coming back to. And I did the same thing that Chris does, and the prompt takes care of it for you. And it uses local storage to track their progress so they can log in and out and keep coming back to this.
I love this. Folks, like I dropped the link in the chat to this. This is something that feels entirely different. And I believe at least presents your brand as much more sophisticated and capable than the previous generation of lead magnets of just kind of like static PDFs or pages. Like this is something, it's an app that Jesse built for
this is an actual resource. Yeah. And I prompted it in specific ways. Like I gave it like a logout button because I want it to feel like something that they come back to, that they now have access to and can continue to come back and use. They can do it on their phone because it's mobile responsive. They can do it from anywhere. Now I've just prompted it and said, go ahead and add video placeholders to each step. So it is working. And then we'll log back in and check it as soon as it's done that. All right, so we go back in. Oops, got to fix that. It shouldn't be giving me that. Dun, dun, dun. Live demos, Chris.
Sorry, I was muted. Your form is redirecting for some reason. Just tell it to submit on page and don't redirect. Yeah, this might also because we're both on our VPN playing with this heavily.
Yeah. It's flagging it. So I also ran another version of it earlier. And I can show that to you here. Actually, even better, I'm going to drop the link and anybody can try this one. It's actually live.
Check this out.
So I'm going to log back in. And this one, it ran the same prompt. It took a slightly different approach. I actually kind of like this one. It has like this accordion expandable style. And I would iterate. And that's what we're doing here. I would probably have it. I would probably have it add videos to each step if I had video assets, especially with something like a service like this that's like specific steps to being able to hit. I would add some imagery or videos or something like that.
Jesse, this is so cool. Like I'm playing around with it. And like the key to this, Jesse already said this, but I want to make sure that this really lands, is like, this isn't just a thing that you use once. It's conceivably something that you reuse, something that could drive people back to your lead magnet. And if you have a pathway to buy your product in your lead magnet, then every time they come back, you're getting essentially an ad for your product or service right in front of them again.
Yeah. So like right there, I'm creating an ad campaign, and maybe it's in parallel to my like direct to purchase campaign, where I'm building an audience. I'm sending them to this page. The ask is simply for their email address, and I'm offering them free value. So like they're the ones winning here, right? Like they're getting a better swing whether they purchase my product or not, just for their email address. But then I have the opportunity to continue to engage with them. And like Chris said, I would add a few things. And I think I may have run this one before I updated the prompt, but I would have a button to my shop at the top of the page here. So there's always this present path and opportunity for them to go there. I would probably add a final step after the 10th one that was like a bonus. And it's like, 3 additional steps using the swing trainer. And, hey, buy it right now for 10% off. And then you can take advantage of these additional tips and drills. So there's just always like, it's just such a more interactive way and proactive way to create a path to purchase. We're going to talk about the email path to purchase because you've built this audience, but your lead magnet itself can be a really good path to purchase.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to show this. Like, Jesse didn't spend any time working on the mobile version of this, but this is what that page looks like on a small screen. So like, imagine you're out with your kid working on their skills.
Yeah.
And I just pulled this up on my phone, and like, I'm able to go in, read this, mark it off, my progress updates. This is awesome, Jesse.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, I'm using a physical product, but this is useful in any space. Like we've talked about this before with lead magnets. There is no product or service or business that cannot develop a lead magnet, that cannot find value to offer for free. And the same goes here. Like, you can create this interactive experience offering some kind of free value to your customers, no matter what it is. If you're in like, maybe you're in behavioral health, create an app that's like, here's what I'm feeling right now. And it walks them through tips for kind of centering themselves, breathing exercises. Like, you can create all kinds of things that provide free value, and you stay present and top of mind. And frankly, you build trust with an audience because you're giving them, some of the value for free. All right. So interactive lead magnet. And listen, I'm going to skip past that part pretty fast because, I want to keep going with this because there's really like, the email nurture path as well, which is the real benefit of building a list. But we will talk, I think, a little bit more next week, probably, about how to turn some of those old static lead magnets into interactive resources using the page builder. So I've got my paid ads. I'm sending them to that landing page where they sign up for my interactive lead magnet, and I'm building my audience. Now I want to nurture them. We have in AWeber, there's also the newsletter assistant. What's so cool about this, if you haven't played with it either, and this is fully available and has been for a little while, is it learns your brand, your product, your service, your industry, your voice, your style, and it writes email content for you. It's called the newsletter assistant, but I'm going to use it today to kind of create a nurture series because it can draft that content for me just the same. So when you set up for the first time, it asks you for your website, and then it's actually going to generate like your brand kit for you, your style kit, your style guide. And you can modify that if you want to. Like, I can show you here. It's actually already populated mine, but it talks about my value prop, my interests, writing style, promotions and links and products. You can modify any of that, but I had it do it and basically just let it use what it found. So you can then, sorry, I don't know what, there we are. You can then prompt it with a specific topic, or it'll give you a few examples. So I actually went ahead and generated a few newsletters earlier. We'll start one more too, just how to measure and improve velocity. But it generated these two emails for me earlier. One is Summer Swing, free shipping and exclusive discount codes inside. And another that is why most drills miss the mark, top drills for baseball and fast. So I like, when it comes to the email nurture side, there's a kind of a pattern that I like to pursue or follow rather. And that's, when somebody joins your list, you welcome them, first of all, with a good welcome email that encourages them to respond and engage with you.
Do you have the workflows up, or are you still showing off the newsletter assistant? Because the screen's still showing.
I should pull up the workflows.
No.
But I like to follow kind of this insight, brand story or customer story, and then the offer. So like the insight emails, you're just offering value. You're not asking for anything. You're just saying, it's almost like an extension of that lead magnet. You're continuing to offer free value. The brand story, it tells the story of a customer or somebody who's kind of faced the similar problems and how your products or services help solve those. And maybe there's a soft offer in there. And hey, if you're ready to talk more, click here, or if you're ready to purchase. And then there's that fourth email, which is the offer email. And that's the one where you really hit maybe it's, buy now and save 10%, or, get the swing trainer and whatever it is, or book the service. So I'm going to create a new workflow, and under automation here, if I click workflows on the left side,
The
go ahead.
newsletter assistant is still showing.
Go on it. Okay, let's try again. Back on AWeber, in the left-hand nav, I go to automation and workflows. And workflows are automated email sequences. So these are going to send based on a specific like start trigger and at a specific cadence automatically. I don't have, once I set it up and I publish, I don't have to do anything else to it to make those send. So I'll create a workflow, and we have a whole bunch of templates here for different purposes. I'm actually going to start with a welcome subscribers because I want this to go to, no, I'm actually going to modify it a little bit, but I want that welcome email because the first thing I'm going to do when they sign up is I'm going to welcome them. Now in this starter box here, you can edit it. And I'm actually going to have it not go to all subscribers, but rather only subscribers who meet all of these conditions. And I'm going to say, oh no, wait, that's not what I wanted to do, right? Switch starter. I want to go to only subscribers with a specific tag. And I'm going to say 10 steps is the tag, right? And I'm going to use that. I'm going to reference that in a second. Now, anybody who signs up on my page, I'm having that form tag them with the tag 10 steps. And that is going to then trigger this workflow. Anybody who has that tag applied, it knows to start this workflow. So the first thing it's going to do nearly immediately is send this welcome email. I would go in and modify this, but essentially it's thanking them for being here. There's a lot that goes into a good welcome email in terms of trying to encourage response and interaction. I would ask them what they're most excited to learn about with the, 10 steps to a better swing, or ask them about, the age group that they're teaching or anything like that. And then with a workflow like this, you can add additional steps. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to add a wait step. I'm going to say wait 3 days and then send another message. Now I'm going to choose a draft because previously I actually had the newsletter assistant write these drafts for me and I saved them. So now I can just go in and select them, and 3 days later is going to send them the next message. And I can continue to do that. You can get much more complex, and you can do branching based on specific behaviors or interactions. But for the purposes of this, it's not necessary. We just want to continue to nurture them towards that, kind of, again, that insight, story, and offer. Now, I didn't draft all of them right now. But as you can see, you would just continue to add them. Now, like, you've now taken those ad dollars. Your cost per lead is going to be dramatically lower than a cost to acquire a customer, or cost per acquisition. But you've got them in your audience, and you can still move them, just for the cost of your email marketing platform towards purchase. So you're taking what might be like, I don't know, maybe let's say it's a $5 cost per lead versus a $50 cost per sale. You've got 10 leads coming through this. And if you convert 3 or 4 of them, you've now, tripled or quadrupled your return versus that direct to purchase. This is like kind of rough and fast. So Chris, like, help me plug in the gaps where I'm like maybe kind of overlooking some of the context.
No, I think this makes a lot of sense, honestly. Like, a few things that I would add to this. Well, the one we already talked about is, like, this should be a mix, part of your mix. Run some direct product for folks who are willing to purchase, run some to your lead magnet for folks who are higher up the funnel, to use that term.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I have started doing more and more of is I've been including an ad unit essentially for whatever my product is in all of my emails in my welcome sequence. Like, it's at the bottom in my welcome workflow, and it's not the primary purpose of the email, but in the off chance that, like, the email that I just sent you convinced you that you need what I have, I include it in every
and it's not disruptive,
yeah,
but it's Yeah.
Yep, just in the footer. It can be a line of text with a link to my product, or in some cases, I'll have like an image, like an actual visual ad unit in my email. Always, generally speaking, in the footer of these nurture style emails. But I figure like no dead ends is something that I was taught pretty early on. So if somebody is ready to purchase, I want to make it as easy as possible for them to.
Yeah, and depending on your product or service, like I believe in the example that you're talking about your pickleball paddle company, and
Yeah.
So having like a visual call out for them to purchase a paddle right then and there, why not? It's great. If you're offering like coaching services, maybe that is a line of text or it's a PS like, hey, if you're ready to talk more about, my services, click here. Exactly what you said, giving them that path or that opportunity without like hard selling right out of the gates.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's so important with like email nurture sequences to remember like this is human and relational.
Mm-hmm.
You would not try to sell someone the moment you meet them. And you shouldn't in email either. There should be that opportunity, but you're building trust, you're building relationship so that when they are ready to purchase, you're the one that they want to come to.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah. Now, the last thing that I want to show here is, as I was thinking about this, I kind of thought, okay, but what about, people who want to, okay, so we've got like the funnel or the ecosystem, but what about actually getting people to those pages? And the one remaining blocker to me was like creating ads and creating a variety of ads. So I went back to Canva AI 2.0 again. I actually really wanted to demo this in Claude, but we'll save that for another time. But again, with Canva AI 2.0, just giving it a fairly simple prompt. I actually ran this earlier. I said, I told it to, why doesn't, see, there's another thing with it. Why doesn't it show me my chat? Anyway, I told it to create 3 different meta ads for this lead magnet. I gave it some images of it. Again, it's like we experienced last week, not terribly compelling design, but you know what? It's clean, it's editable, it technically does the job. Not something that I would post right away, but I will say that, again, with better prompting, better resources, it is an available option that can unblock you in creating paid ads. You could also just prompting ChatGPT or something like that. But what I do like, again, about Canva AI 2.0 is that these are all editable. So each of these layers I can modify and interact with, and I don't have to prompt those changes.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll say too, man, it's something, you have something, you're not blocked. Like you have your lead magnet. I think like this is pretty cool because you have your lead magnet, which is where your value is. You have your products, which is how you earn money, So like if the blocker is just, I need to put something out there, this is a great place to start and then start and iterate, make it better as you actually get to see it in front of people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, like you get what you put into it. I would not say that I spent hours refining these. The goal is not to spend hours. But yeah, you could get this to a more usable state. And again, a visual that you can launch your campaign with is better than no visual blocking the launch of your campaign.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw a comment that I just off topic that I want to refer to about captions in English, and absolutely, we want to make sure that this is like fully accessible. The on-demand version will have captions shortly after the show completes. So if you want to rewatch, you'll be able to turn captions on, and hopefully that's a better experience for you. All right. Any questions or anything we didn't cover, Chris? Or any questions that we didn't get to in the chat?
No, I don't think so. I hope like the big takeaways here are, if right now you're only running ads straight to your product, that is better than not running paid ads at all. Paid ads should be part of like all of our mix, but you're really leaving a potential portion of your audience on the table, like people who would otherwise buy from you. I know this from experience. With my pickleball paddles, I run some direct ads and promotions. Like when I post in local Facebook groups and stuff like that, I'll frequently post directly to my products because my ad is me talking about them. But I also have a Pickleball 101 guide that when I've run paid ads, I usually run it to that guide because I have much better success, emailing people, staying in contact with them and convincing them that they want my paddle over time rather than just with a single ad.
Right.
This is cool.
Yeah. And it's exactly what you said. Not all paths need to lead directly to the product. Often getting them into your audience can just produce better results in addition to those other paths.
Yeah.
I hope this was useful. I know it was kind of like a lot to try to cover in a condensed amount of time, but also wanted to be respectful of time and not turn this into an hour demo. And that's never our intent. Check out the chat. Chris did share the link for that page builder. If you want to turn one of your old static assets into an interactive web app lead magnet, or you want to create a brand new one using the page builder, that's a more interactive resource. We would love to hear what you put together. As always, please share that with us. You can go to aweber.com/shift and you can send us a question or what you built or anything else. And you can join the newsletter there as well. Chris, we're going to be back on Friday with a pretty exciting episode.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. It's our first interview and it's with a really smart, pretty huge thinker, marketer, somebody who thinks a lot about how to build businesses that work, how to communicate what you have to offer, and really like how to go from an idea that you might have into something that sustains you. And we're talking to him about how he thinks about AI. We're not teasing this. It's Evan Carmichael, right?
I was going to say, you don't have to hold that back. It's Evan Carmichael. He is like the coach to entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I mean, he has almost 5 million YouTube subscribers. I think like 600,000 Instagram followers. And those aren't vanity metrics. It's because his content is valuable.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for people to learn. I know I learned. We had a chance to talk to him, and we're going to be airing that on Friday as part of our episode. So absolutely tune in Friday at noon Eastern time. And you can check that out, aweber.com/shift. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right. That's all I got. Anything you want to add, Chris, before we bounce out of here?
Only just like build something, folks. Like you have that link. If you sign up, if you have an AWeber account, just log into your AWeber account and build the thing that you've been thinking about. And if you don't have an AWeber account, like I mentioned, if you want to try it out first, you could sign up for a free account. And right now, at least, you can use that page builder for free to build the thing that you've been thinking about building, but maybe you couldn't in the past because you didn't have the technical expertise. You don't need the technical expertise anymore. You just need a creative idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you go in and play with it, like push the limits. Don't ask it to build like a basic landing page. Ask it to build. We'll be sharing Evan Carmichael's interview. Can't wait for it. Thanks y'all for being here.
See you, folks.
To pay an invoice,
no.
Please press 4 now.
Talk to a person.
Help closing your account.
Running a business is hard.
Okay.
But with AWeber, your email marketing doesn't have